Hey, welcome to Lady Overlander Radio. Today we are live at the KC HiLites booth. We're going to be doing a roundtable discussion with some awesome women. Stay tuned.
Grab your favorite drink, whether it's a coffee, cocktail, or tea, and get ready. It's Ladies' Night on Lady Overlander Radio. The Lady Overlander Radio podcast is sponsored by CB Adventure Supply, Midland Radio, Go Treads, Overland Spices, The Moore Expo, Wildland Coffee, Adventure Trail Outfitters, Lifesaver Water Filters, Sea Sucker Camp, and Sport Keg.
That's okay. Hey, welcome back to the show. We are with Tara McGovern of Rove and Reverie. Avis, she is a Rebel Rally participant last year and this year, correct? And Kristen Wetton from Badass Brunette. Welcome, guys. Okay, so let's talk about how the show has been for you so far, Kristen.
Show's been a lot of fun. The rain on Thursday or on Friday was a bit of a buzzkill. It downpoured for a few hours, and it's cold, but I think everybody's spirits came right on back on Friday or yesterday for Saturday, and it's been fun. I mean, for me especially, I was doing a build for the last 8 months, and I was in a shop and away from all my friends, and not living life on the road, and so coming back here and seeing everybody was just, I missed everyone, I missed all my friends, so to see them was just made my day.
Yeah, I finally found where your build was. It's beautiful. It's so amazing. I love it. I got to show Arla. We were looking for it yesterday, and It took us a while, but
last night we walked around trying to look for it too.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Tara, how's the show going for you so far?
I am tired. Amazing. Today's my brain coming down off of all of the fun craziness from yesterday, but yeah, we had all the women's stuff this weekend has been really awesome with all the roundtables, and we went pavilion yesterday, and I heard of other really awesome classes that I didn't get to go to, but maybe next year try to schedule a little better. But
Hey, Deb.
Yeah, there's been there's a ton of classes. I had no idea they had that many different courses here.
they were. I feel like I didn't do a great job this year of checking all the schedules again twice when I got here, but that's okay. Figure it out next year.
I think it might have changed a little bit as the expo went on too.
Yeah, we got rained out on Friday, but yesterday was beautiful, and today is perfect.
Gorgeous.
But are you sunburned? Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
I have only actually no, I don't think I'm sunburned anymore. I think I'm good otherwise. I stay covered.
I'm sunburned.
I will sweat before I burn.
I'm sunburned.
My scalp is sunburnt. Oh, it hurts so bad.
I just sweat and wear flannel, and then I'm good.
And then you just stink a little bit.
Everybody here's used to that.
Nobody can smell anybody over themselves, right?
Hey, Avis, how has the expo been for you so far? What do you think?
It's great. We've been here since Thursday because we have a couple vehicles and some booths, but yeah, so it's good. I think of it like a high school reunion. You know, all your friends gather and you get to see them, and then make plans to see each other, and then everybody goes their separate ways again. But no, it's a great show. Lots of good vendors. Yeah, I won a Pro Legal Jack here yesterday, thanks to Rose
you did.
Beer. I kind of think you manifested that in the moment. That's how to manifest.
She did. She's like, I'll be that person. Yeah. I will. What did you say? I will.
I said, I volunteer as tribute.
There's so many people that weren't here.
Yeah, they weren't. In fact, you had to be present to win. So,
yeah.
You know.
And yesterday, Tara did a wrenching for women class on that beast right there. Beautiful Wagoneer. So it was pretty awesome. Check out her Instagram and Facebook for some updated photos and videos on that. Okay, let's talk a little bit about this rig build. What exactly have you done to it so far, and what do you still need to do?
So far, what we did was with me living on the road full time. Before, I had my truck bed, just standard truck with a camper on top of it, and after living in it for over a year, it was like, there's just I think there could be a better use of space if we flatbed it. So I pulled the truck bed off, built a flatbed tray on it, and then we built a camper up from that. And so it just maximizes the footprint. We turned a 5-foot bed into a 6-foot bed, reinforced the frame all 9 yards on that one, and then it's fully custom, 100%, all aluminum, and the interior is all wood paneled. It's really pretty and homey, and I think it's just going to work more efficiently as a little home on wheels. But there's still a couple of things still left to tweak on it. I mean, this is definitely that stage of filling in things and playing the Tetris game, and then you realize, okay, that doesn't work there. We'll put it over here. That doesn't work. It's just like the dialing in at this point. But there's still a couple little things left on it, and hopefully within the next 2 weeks, I'll be good to go.
Yeah, it looks beautiful. I was just so speechless when I went over and looked at it. I was like, wow.
Went for a mini Earth Roamer vibe.
Yeah, it's totally awesome. I mean, and it's perfect for, you travel solo most of the time, right? So it's perfect for one person, and it's got everything you need.
Exactly. I dialed it in for my needs and wants were. It was like, well, I had to have these, 12 things that this build had to have, and got it.
Very cool.
Yeah, thanks.
And who helped you with the build, or where did you get that done?
So I was up in Boise, Idaho. It was Talus Expedition Gear. They helped do the fabrication work, and then Haven Overland up in Washington helped me with the interior.
Nice.
So he's done some van builds in the past, and so offered to help me out. But yeah, it was definitely a group effort. It wasn't just me by myself, so there was a lot of hands on deck with this one that helped out a lot to pull it off and make it a reality.
Very, very cool. Very happy for you.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
All right,
who
new one
just
here
joined us, Katie?
Hello.
with their Starbucks. I'm jealous.
With my Starbucks.
Gosh,
With her
man.
Starbucks.
We were starting to load up so that we can tear down quickly this afternoon because most of us are flying out this evening in the morning.
and burnt
early.
out.
I slept for 11 hours last night.
Oh my gosh.
Everyone was getting in the hot tub, and I was like, I'm going to sit on the couch and call James. And I fell asleep on the couch and then went to bed.
Morning, Amy.
So,
Well, Katie was in the Rebel Rally last year, and she's also going to be a competitor this year with her teammate Lisa as Team Wild Mavens. And Katie also works for Dometic.
Mhm.
So how has the expo been for you so far?
It's been great. The first day was, obviously a little rough because it was cold and rainy. And
Yeah.
I didn't dress appropriately nor pack appropriately, so I had to go buy stuff from the expo, which it works. I was planning on buying something anyways, but it's been great. The booth has been really busy. We have a couple new products. We just launched a rooftop tent that is partially inflatable. And it's also made for smaller crossover vehicles, and there's some really cool articles that just came out about it that we're really stoked about. But yeah, it's really neat. So it's super lightweight, and I'm not a fan of rooftop tents always for my setup personally, but I really like that one. So
it's more suited for like a Subaru or a smaller.
It has a small
Cross
footprint
track,
on the
yeah.
roof itself, but it's not small once you open it, kind of deal. So that's nice. But we've been so busy. We've had popsicles and
I know we have grabbed them. Yes, we have.
And we had Sarah Glover. She's a chef from Tasmania.
Yes.
That is one of our influencers, and she's just the sweetest girl ever. This is my first time getting to meet her, so she's been cooking for us all week.
And that's
I've been
amazing.
a little spoiled by that. And
That lamb was, oh my God.
yeah, we had a Dometic party on Friday night.
Mm-hmm.
That was more for the vendors that we work with and some of the influencers, and meeting some new influencers that could use some support. But she made lamb that was
From Tasmania,
from
right?
Tasmania.
Yeah.
And then the strip steaks were also from Tasmania. Had like a meat salad
Mhm.
and a pea salad and fingerling potatoes and a mushroom cream sauce.
That was
It
amazing.
was lit.
I could
It was
have
so
just
good.
piled on the mushrooms and the fingerling potatoes and the meat and
Yes.
just went to town, but I saved room for other people.
Yeah.
Saved stuff for
Delicious.
other people.
Yeah.
It was so good. And even the peas with the mint in there, that was really, it was a nice combination.
I ate it with some of my lamb, but I told her, I said, now I'm never going to be able to buy American lamb
No,
ever again.
she ruined it
because
for
was
us.
So good. But no, it's been great. This morning, obviously, is a little bit more low key, but we're all fine with that because we're exhausted.
Yes.
So it's been good, but the turnout in terms of women too has been really good. I've noticed that there's a ton more that are doing the talking,
Yes.
asking about products and looking to set up their own vehicles. And
Yep.
I thought that was really fantastic. So it's been good.
Yes, I was on the women's roundtable, and we had a lot of really great questions and a lot of women getting ready to start traveling solo. It was really cool to see that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I'm going on my first more than 2 weeks solo trip for the Pacific Northwest Expo now, and that got decided this trip. So if anybody is going to get that way, like June 12th through July 15th, I'm going to spend 5 weeks out in the Pacific Northwest in my car by myself and just hit as much as I can. Yes, I was like, I've never been out there. I've never seen any of it except for the Portland airport once.
you know what? I got you. We'll meet up.
Yes.
Yes.
So I'm going to start making my route next week because this literally got decided on Friday that this was happening. So we're going to hit up the Northwest Overland Rally. So Emily Miller was like, you should come out because it's really fun. So I said, okay, if you said that, then
I guess it's fun.
Then it's done.
We did the Northwest Overland Rally last year for the first time, and the Rebel stuff that they do out there, it's very fun.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh,
they have a
nice.
little driving course that they set
Oh,
up.
I didn't even know.
They do lots of different classes. Yeah, if you're new or interested in Rebel, that is a great place.
Very
I
cool.
didn't know that.
Yeah,
Exciting.
No,
More excited. It's
Yeah.
It's great fun. It's great fun. Yeah, I mean, it's good anyways. Like, it's a small feel, like, family kind of event, but if you're into Rebel, like, top notch there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And are you competing again this year?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes. So I'm competing with Kristen Herbert. She's gonna be the driver.
That's right.
Yeah. I'm the navigator. We're Team 101, 20 Express, and we've got some good sponsors this year. We got Rock Jock and Opt Up Road. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Very
It's gonna be in
cool.
her Bronco. It's a 22.
Oh, awesome.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That'll be comfy.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. They ride so wonderful.
Like
Like, I'm a Jeep girl. You get in the Bronco and you're expecting the bump.
I got it straight up
Yeah.
there.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're looking forward to it.
Very cool.
See how that Bronco handles the dunes and stuff.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting.
They were surprisingly nimble. Watching some of the gals last year out the dunes and those things, I was like, okay, all right, girl, you go.
Yeah.
That's a little scary. You were going a little fast there, but you're kind of going to launch off the top of that dune.
You seem like you got it. So, yeah.
I can't say anything though. We tramp stamped a dune with my front skid plate that said RCI backwards on it because like I was driving my heavy 05 4Runner, so like we had to go fast up this one to be able to get up the bowl, and the gals behind us just laughed. They were like, we drove up and you could see your skid plate perfectly in the sand. I was like, oh, I know, I felt it. I hit it hard, but we made it up.
If in doubt, throttle out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
That's probably one of my downfalls. I'm not afraid to throttle out, and sometimes I probably should rear that back a little bit.
Nah.
Yeah, just send it.
Yeah, so sponsors too. We've been lucky to have a couple come back. So General Tire hooked us up again with some wheels or some tires, and then Method hooked Lisa up with some new wheels. And then we got Rhino Rack this year, which is great because Lisa does more rock crawling than she does overlanding.
Yeah.
So their rack system is better for her setup, so she can just take it off when she wants to go crawling. But then for Rebel, we'll have the extra storage for some of our recovery gear, things that we're not going to necessarily need all the time. So that's exciting. And then our friends, Shop Overland Apparel, is making a huge help with new t-shirt designs and things for us. More Expo, everybody. I'm like, I gotta start writing down a list on my hand so I can make sure to get everything.
I'd like to get your thing. I'd like to thank.
Yeah, I know. I'm really
Thank
sad
the
about
Academy.
You'll come stand at the podium. We'll do it.
It doesn't come from just the driver and the navigator. There's so much that goes into it. My husband Rob I call him the team manager.
He's the guy on the bicycle.
Him on the bike.
Yeah.
Team manager for Rebel. Look at that.
Yeah, there's so many companies. Like you said, it's hard to name them all. Canati for us this year came in really
that's
big.
exciting.
Yeah, they're big in Southern Utah, and this is their second year with us.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Very nice.
Yeah, and it's fun when you come to the expo, ride around, and we ride our bikes around, but see all your all your support
Mhm.
members and people. So it's very exciting.
And it's nice to be able to go up to them and thank them in person too, and
Yeah.
chat with them. And
Yeah.
very cool.
Yeah, it's so exciting.
Yeah. So what is one thing, Tara, one thing about the expo in general? We're not going to trash anybody, but one thing in general about the expo that you wish would be done differently.
No pressure.
Gosh, no, I'm just trying to think how. If you want
She's
me
trying to
go
turn
there.
on her filter.
If you want me to, I am trying to turn on
Yeah.
my filter.
Your thing.
Okay. Thing I noticed most this year, and it's a women specific thing, and I have not fully decided what the solution to that is yet, is that obviously, regardless of how many women's things we see going on here, it is still a man dominated industry. All off-road stuff is. It just is the nature of it, and there is always going to be a smaller number of women. But I'm seeing a little bit of a lack of women holding space for each other when we are doing different things or doing things in ways that we might not even agree with each other on, or like whatever. I'm seeing a little bit of the clickiness going on that I don't super love. And I've been guilty of it myself in the past. So like, I can't say I haven't done that either, because it's just how things work around here. But I would love to try to find a way to create a space that feels safer for people, where we don't feel like we're already thrown into this competition situation when we get here, because we are like, whether it's the token female or whatever aspect that happens, to just be able to hold space for each other, whether or not we get along. Like, we don't have to, and so we don't have to be best friends, but I would like to see a little bit more holding space for each other, to be doing our own thing and still be supportive.
Well, if we're all professionals, there should be no issue with that, right?
Not even professionals, because we have like 70-something% beginners for this
Yeah.
expo, and I feel like they've got to see those of us that have been around for a while holding more space for each other, for them to even feel like they can do this. So, and like I said, I've been guilty of it too, whether I realize it or not, and I have to stop myself sometimes and be like, okay, like, I don't know everything about this person, so like, it's okay. If they don't like me, that's fine. I can still be here and support and like whatever. So
yeah, that's
that's
kind of what I meant.
More
like,
space for people to just feel like there is room for everybody.
Yeah.
And even do better at it myself, of just holding space for those women around me that I may not even like what they're doing, whatever it is, to just kind of make sure that space is held for them and supported.
Absolutely. And that's why I really, really appreciate everybody that's here right now, because all of my favorite ladies. So most of my favorite ladies. Some of my favorite ladies didn't show up, and I'm a little upset, but that's okay. So what about you, Kristen? What do you think is something that could be done a little differently, or a way to improve overall the expo? Do you think?
I don't know.
Or do you think it was great, just like it was? I
More
mean,
food.
that's an answer too.
I was just gonna
More
say,
food.
you stole mine.
Ah,
Actually, I need more food trucks over there.
yes.
I might have had chocolate chip cookies for lunch, maybe.
We did have cookies for lunch yesterday, lemonade. So we're adults, we can do that. But that was the shortest line, to be honest, and we were crunched for time. We had a class.
More food.
So
Gosh, I don't know. I mean, for me, I come from the home build world, but like, I love to see more of that. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, this is kind of the big industry show that, like, cool, you see the like top of the top, like, cool, you can buy this, put this on your truck, but like, to see the ones that like, oh no, I built this in my garage and I did it in the DIY stuff, which like the DIY section is awesome, but like, I guess more of that like, go out on a limb and like take a chance and build something that you want and make it your own. And I love seeing that. And so for me, I'm always supportive of that. I'm like, yeah, let's see more of that.
Yeah. You know what? I need to get you the "I built this shit myself" sticker from Shop Overland Apparel.
yes.
You need to send that to her.
Oh no, my vehicle's not here. I was like, I have a
You
stack
have one?
of them.
Oh.
Because sometimes I'll see my friend's rig that I know that she built herself, and I'll just like slap it on somewhere random, like the inside of her seatbelt buckle. On your show, right?
You always curse on my show. It's fine.
Katie never has a filter.
Because I'm at home and I'm like, I'm a little nervous. Hands are sweating. I'm like, I'll drink some whiskey so I can.
Yeah, I have no way to bleep you out, so it's fine.
Oh my God.
Hey,
Yeah.
Taylor.
Katie, Tony with Fast Off Road says, I have a cool video of Katie throttling her buggy. Or your truggy, sorry. Your truggy.
Where?
I think that was at S'more.
Oh yeah.
When we went that
I'm gonna do that waterfall.
Oh, Lord.
Well,
Let me know when you go, and I'll watch that.
It's a waterfall that's
Oh,
just a big rock that sticks out, and so
Mhm.
there's nothing underneath of it, and you have to like climb up the side and be hanging off
Yeah.
the side and then crawl up. But my truggy isn't long enough. I think it's only like 100 lengthwise, so I need to stretch it
He's like
more.
110, I think.
Yeah, because I started one time just to see how it felt, and I was like, no, I'm ballsy, but my ratio or my chance percentage of actually flipping for this is way too high. It was like
Super high.
90%.
Yeah.
That's not fun for me. I'm like, if it's 50-50, I'll do it. But if it starts getting too outweighed, but yeah,
Yeah.
it's awesome. Hi, Tony.
Hi, Tony.
Hi, Tony.
Do we have any other comments so far?
Oh, yeah, I've been talking to him while y'all been talking.
Well, I mean, let's go to the comments.
All right, we got Bats Off Road say good morning first. And then we have Deb Reed with Cottywomple. And then we have Cottywomple also that got on here. So that's probably Bill, maybe, or Deb.
They all just saying hello.
All good morning. Well, Cottywomple says good morning from Blue Ridge Parkway.
Ooh.
Got Gloria, got Amy Marler, and Christina White.
Hey, ladies.
All saying good
Yeah.
morning.
Thank you
It's
for
early out
joining.
here.
If anybody has any questions for any of our guests, please go ahead and drop them in the comments, and we will get them answered.
Sure will.
Okay. So I got you two.
What about you, ma'am?
Oh, I'm saying
Ma'am,
I'll be there.
I'll be there. I'll be there.
What do you think should be one thing that should be different or done a little bit?
I'd like to see more mechanics focused items or
Yes.
classes, and more women's mechanics items, even especially like jimmy rigging. Like if you're out on the trail and you have X items, how can I fix things?
Yeah.
So
I call it
like,
the magic of zip ties.
yeah,
She went over that yesterday in her. We did it
trash
there.
bags, like how you can use these
Tampons.
different things
Tampons.
Yep.
to fix
That
things.
came up.
And I'm passionate about that. I'm a certified YouTube mechanic is my favorite thing to say. You can figure it out, but if you have experts, that's one thing I like about Rebel is that they're very educational about, helping women be able to fix things. So I'd like to see more mechanics focused things, especially for women, showing them that you can do certain things, and how to get around, like if this bolt is really seized, like take the handle of your jack to get more leverage, stuff like that, to be able to do it yourself. There are certain things though where I'm like, bro, you're gonna have to come to get this off. Whoever torqued that down had a mission to torque it down.
Where were you yesterday?
Yesterday.
That's what she did.
Did you?
Yeah,
she did.
Yes. I would.
But
I don't know what else.
typically when I do those classes, I need 3 hours, a good 3 hours. And I tried to get it into an hour yesterday, so I ended up emailing more information afterwards. So my thought was next year, maybe either the day before Expo, maybe a Thursday evening or the day after. Maybe I should just do a trail day thing with everybody when we're all done here and
Yeah.
go out, because there's so many amazing spots out here where I can actually show them, like, this is what happens when we're in the dirt and you're stuck under there. Because it's kind of, it's kind of easy when everything's set up for me there and nothing's actually gone wrong. But it's more of a day class. It's not an hour class. So we can figure that out for next year, though. We can make that happen.
Yeah,
we should talk. We
Mechanics
should talk about that.
Universal.
absolutely.
Yeah,
It was
I would come to that.
Yeah.
That's
Would you
definitely-
rather it be the day before or day after? Like,
Day before.
day
that's what
before.
I'm thinking.
Yeah, I think
For a
people are ready to
Wednesday
go
thing.
by
Yeah,
then.
Wednesday thing, so we all
Ready
just
to
set
go
up.
Mhm.
Right. We'll do it like a Wednesday thing before then. Yeah.
Maybe we should do like a camp, the ladies camp out.
Everybody has to camp together usually anyway. So
Yeah.
we do Wednesday and then camp. Most of us have to set up on Thursday for food. So like,
Yeah.
we'll do Wednesday.
I like it. I like it.
That'd be fun because we got in Wednesday and just went and did shopping, got stuff for the Airbnb, and then we stared at each other and we were like, "What do you want to do?" And I was like, "There's a hot tub, and we have lots of alcohol."
Oh, yeah.
It was good. And then we stayed up one night till 2:45 on accident, and I was like, I hate all of it. Like I was so tired yesterday. Then one of the guys woke me up at 4:30 to go to the airport. He came into my room and he was like, "You said you'd drive me," and I was like, "Ah." Why did I say that?
Don't believe me when I say I was drunk.
Yeah, exactly.
Next year, definitely, I can make that happen. I need at least 3 hours, ideally 5. Like, really, when you get into it with me making people do hands. As soon as I ask people at the beginning of the class to raise their hands of who's done this and that, and then when I actually get into it and they think I'm going to make them take a tire off, all hands are down.
I was gonna say that. She asked that, and everybody's like, "Yeah, I've never changed a tire
Let's do
before."
it.
And then she's like, "All right, so who's never changed a tire?" She's
Crickets.
holding the tire.
Crickets.
Crickets.
Which is
Nobody.
fine. But on a trail, it is different. Honestly, in this scenario, when everybody's watching you, it's harder. When everybody
Yes.
has their own vehicle on a trail, everybody's more likely to get hands on. So I will absolutely do that next year.
That would be awesome. I would love that.
Absolutely. Hello.
Hi,
Welcome.
I'm Sarah.
Hi, Sarah. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name's Sarah Glover, and I'm a chef right now. Like I cook in the outdoors, over open fire, off the grid, and I write adventure cookbooks.
We were actually talking about the dinner you made at the Domenica
Yes, we
House
were.
the other night.
It
Oh
was
my God, it's so
amazing.
good.
So good. Yeah, it was a really fun night. I had a blast. Actually, I think it's probably one of my favorite events I've done in a really long time. Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about the food you prepared that night, if you don't mind.
Yeah, so I set up a couple of Brio grills, which are like a portable little grill that you can have. They're stainless steel. They're raised on their on legs, and they have these amazing. They call it the outpost. So like these, like a pole that extends up with a grill plate off it. And I smoked some beef. So I have some friends that actually import beef from Tasmania, which is where I'm from, and so a big part of what I believe in is being able to bring something to the table and the narrative around the food that you're preparing and the story. And I think that's probably why I love a lot of like outdoor adventure cooking, because you kind of end up on a journey, like on the road, and you're kind of gathering things along the way, and that brings like such an incredible story to the dinner table. So for me, it was like really beautiful to be able to bring something from my hometown, from where I'm from in Tasmania, Australia. So I had some beautiful grass-fed Cape Rim beef that I grilled over the coals for a few hours, and I am obsessed with all things butter.
Yes.
So I had a giant pot of butter that I always melt down so that it splits. So basically you end up with just like this liquid gold on top, which is like a really delicious way of adding flavor into whatever you're grilling over the coal. So you like basically base your meat into that and then throw it down on the grill with a lot of salt. So we had that grilling for a while, and I also had some lamb from Gundagai, Victoria, so that's on the mainland of Australia. And then I ended up sort of collecting a bunch of different vegetables along the way out here. And I made some pizzas in Bogosni, which were really fun.
How about the pizzas?
Yeah, the pizzas.
That piece of that was
some wild
awesome.
boar sausage from the guys, the Force of Nature out in Texas. So I really love, I guess, sustainability around food as well. And so the cool thing about what those guys are doing is making wild game meat accessible to the everyday person, and that everyone can hunt. So that was fun. We made, so I made pizzas with that. So I put that topping on top of the pizzas. And the other cool thing is I guess it bridges this gap for people where they see sometimes wild game meat as being like a really strong flavor, or they feel very disconnected from it. And when you kind of place it on top of a pizza like that, then people all of a sudden just think it's like regular pork sausage that's been farmed. But there's a huge problem with invasive species all around the world in different countries, but one of them being like pigs. They do really bad damage. So eat
we
more
have them in Florida.
Yeah, I was in Florida for
We sure
9
do.
months before I shipped out to California. So I know a lot about that.
We're going to eat you.
Yeah.
Well,
I didn't have bugs. Okay, good.
Yeah. Thank you so much for making that
My
amazing
pleasure.
meal. It was so
Yeah,
good.
I had a great time.
Do you have a social media handle?
I do. It's at Miss Sarah Glover, and I just launched a new cookbook, which is all about my road trip adventures across the USA. And there's a heap of recipes from different states. There's also a big focus on, it's very subtle throughout the book, but actually bringing more awareness around like Native American foods and like your traditional foods of the land as well. So just bringing a really like small element of food history as well in the book, which is for me really important as well.
Very nice. Thank you.
And I just have to say, because I was trying to find your social media to send you a message, Friday night was like the thing I didn't know I needed.
Right, real food.
I was so tired from work. So I was like, I'm gonna go for half an hour, and then I've got to come back and like work and go to bed. And then we got there, and it was like sitting down to this amazing, thought out, heartfelt meal and long conversations. And it's like 3 hours later. And
Yeah, we're like, we need to go.
Mental wise, with what I deal with here work-wise, it was like the thing I did not know I needed that like got me through the next even morning of like, okay, my brain has this chance to relax and enjoy and talk. And
It was a good event. I wasn't sure how it was going to go because I didn't do any of the planning with it. Our storyteller brand manager for Dometic, is the one that puts all that together, Amanda. And so when she told me about it, I was like, oh, I'm so excited. But just the people that were there, the whole thing. Actually, I really liked that we put up some just patio lights and stuff. It was just really,
and I think
really pleasant.
it's something about like food obviously draws people, but then the element of like fire and smoke, and then rather than just getting a meal delivered to your table, like you're experiencing it before you eat it. And I think that's like such a big part of why I love cooking outside of a kitchen, and particularly outdoors, because number one, I feel like even though we're in a house, like there's something about you step outside, and I feel like also you like forget a bit about your phone, and you feel like you just relax a little bit more, and you just disconnect. So I love creating those environments where people can come and have a moment to find a little bit of sanity, and just
it is my favorite moment from the entire weekend. It was my favorite.
Yes.
I would agree.
I've been here since Wednesday with all work, and that was
Those potatoes.
Gosh.
yeah.
It's the
I could have
mushrooms.
eaten a whole pot of potatoes and mushrooms like by
The
myself.
mushrooms were,
Yeah.
I could just have a big bowl of
If
those.
this meal is happening next year, I saw Tara's photos, and I'm kind of a foodie. Like if somebody else is cooking, I'm a foodie. If I'm cooking, I will keep you alive. I saw the pictures of the outdoor space and the lights, and I was like, oh my god, I want to be there. Where
It was
is
a
that
cool
happening?
Airbnb for sure.
Yeah.
beyond that, even the group of people, the amount of different people that were brought together that night, of like the conversations you get to have, it was just like it creates this really healthy space mentally, like almost away from what I was talking about earlier of like needing these spaces, the ability to hold space for other people around us at this thing when things get crazy. It created that. So
And we had a pretty awesome conversation, the women around the dining room table there.
Yeah,
So
with Naomi talking
Yeah.
about the diversity as well factor for her. She's a Black woman and she's very passionate about it. She's a full timer now, and she's getting ready to launch a book.
Yes.
Yeah, the van life.
Yep.
She brought a really interesting perspective of not just bringing women into the sport, but all women of all
Races and ethnicities and
whatever that looks like. And I've met quite a few different women and also different stages of their gender changes or life and all of that. I was like, that's great that you're getting involved in all of this, because it's everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. That was a good combo. I did start to get tired and I had to go step away from it. And I was like, we are getting real deep in this.
Yeah.
And I'm too tired to keep going on this conversation.
I think that's why I was just sitting there, because I was like, I'm just not. My brain's like,
Yeah, it got pretty, not intense, but it got pretty deep, and yeah. But there's a lot of feelings behind, people that like feel marginalized, right? I mean, we as women feel marginalized, different races and stuff feel marginalized. So, there's a lot of passion and, feeling behind that. So
yeah, I don't have an issue because I got more of my mom's skin, but my brother's a bit darker and we're Lebanese. And he's gotten stopped many times at the airport, especially when he had his hair long and a beard, and our last name's Abraham, and they pronounced it Abraham. And he got stopped and pulled, and they had to go search him. And I was like, we're literally from West Virginia, like whole country. We're the most American people you'll ever meet.
yeah.
So it's from that perspective, I don't have personal experience with that side of it, but I've seen it, and it's interesting. So I'm glad that it's changing.
It was a good conversation to have.
It was.
I think it was necessary.
I must say, like, this is my first Overland Expo I've been to ever. But at the dinner, I was like, God, there's so many men. I was like, where are all the women? Like, it felt so upstairs.
A few of us were there.
Even
at the beginning, and just in general, like, it's just a very male-dominated area, and then obviously cooking too. Yeah.
there's some really amazing men here too, and that's the other thing.
Oh,
I struggle with,
absolutely.
is like when people are saying, "Oh, I'm not comfortable walking in here." This arena particularly, there is not a man in this arena that you would ever have to worry about in any way as far as being the most supportive. Like, but I understand what they're talking about being concerned otherwise. But for me, there is also some of the most supportive, educational, like have my back men here.
A lot of great mentors you have, I think.
Right, mentors too that I've never experienced elsewhere in life. So I don't want them all to feel kind of knocked on because there's also the most supportive ones here. Even my guys in the front runner booth.
We still love them.
We do. Yeah,
Absolutely. That's all we're trying to say.
You just want the ability to stand on your own 2 feet, but we don't, I love the men. I think it's more that it's like for me, I was like, wow, like I'm surprised there's not more women here. Like even just after traveling around the US, doing what I'm doing, and I was just like, oh, it's still, there's still like a gap,
Yeah.
and just kind of passionate about seeing that gap filled and women feeling more like, I guess, comfortable to be in this environment. And like you said, like a lot of the guys here, I've never had a bad experience with with men in the overlanding area, but there's still like a mental block I think a lot of women have around being here.
You feel intimidated
Yeah.
sometimes,
And so I don't know what that looks like to see that bridge other than continuing to like do what we all do and have a conversation and encourage people to like reach out and join in, but it's just an interesting observation, oh, this is still a thing.
A lot of it also comes down to, and that's why I always tell people, if you see a company listed on my list of companies, on every post I do, like I feel like you see any of that matter. It's loud. If you see me have a company on anything I do, that means that is a safe company as a woman for you to approach anybody at that company. That means I know that they are even paying their women equally, that they like that there are women's voices going on in those companies. I looked into them in depth that far, which also made me drop a lot of companies over the years when things weren't lining up, weren't right. But same thing resource-wise when I come here, and I always tell people, if you see me with a company, if you see any of that, I am happy to point out to you where you are safe to just walk in and be, because I understand that of like wanting somebody next to you or sitting there when you pull up somewhere and just staring and watching all of the guys walk in and being like, okay, do I want to walk into that? Or, but like where you're safe to. So if anybody has any questions, always ask me. I can tell you exactly where all your safe places are here if you are alone, because a lot of people come alone. Or kind of where to start, even if you're trying to know which companies are safe to approach in that way. There's some good ones.
And like you said, holding space for one another, right? Mm-hmm. So my challenge, and I'm going to group everybody into this challenge. My challenge to all of you guys and Arla and I, and to the people watching, we would like any women that are in the industry in any way, shape, or form, reach out to us, any of us, and let's collaborate. Let's work together. Let's build something wonderful. Let's do educational things together, right? We have a lot of experience with Rebel. Let's go camping. We have a lot of culinary experience here. So, I mean, there's a lot of different talents and knowledge that a lot of these women bring. And I think that if we all work together, it's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
And who knows? Maybe one day we'll dominate the overlanding world. Maybe.
Help women find their place in the industry too. That was one thing I wanted to say is I think a lot of women get intimidated by the other women sometimes because some of us do very specific things and they're like, oh, I don't know if I could ever do that. It doesn't matter if you want to do 2 tracks or you just want to go hit fire access roads or you just want to camp in RV campsites. It's just about getting out into the outdoors and finding yourself and what you want to do. That's why I work at Domedic now. I had to get away from some of the things I had because it wasn't healthy for me anymore. So now I get to hang out with these great ladies and I decided that for myself and it's what I wanted to do. So here we are. And that's all I want them to do is just, you can do whatever you want. And it doesn't have to be anything else that anyone else is doing as long as it makes you happy.
Yeah.
So that's how I started mine yesterday. It's the if I can do this, you can do it class.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's just I'm not an expert by any means. It is all if I can do it, I promise you can do it.
And you did it.
You did do it.
We did it without injury.
Without injury.
That's the first.
Arla was like, "Oh Lord."
One time.
Yeah, just that one time.
In my head later.
Oh my gosh. Let's just say she was unconscious.
Oh shit.
And her sons were,
My kids are well equipped.
Hey, what's going on with mom? But all was well. All was well. The boys acted appropriately and called a relative, right? And everything was good.
One was I dropped a breaker bar because I was trying to break up the boot and bolts off my drive shaft and I was over here, but because it was so long I had to get the leverage and it popped off the bolt and it landed right on my face. And I was done for the day. I was like through it and I was like,
what do you want to say?
I said this fucking thing. I went inside and James was like, you good? You cool? I was like,
don't touch me.
Fine.
I'm fine. My nose is bleeding a little, but I'm good. Oh man. Yeah, I mean, even so, my family and I've been traveling for 6 years on the road, and I can do some basic mechanical things on my car, but I wish I could do so much more. Like I don't have the knowledge, and I need to. Yeah.
Let's just take stuff off your car and then put it back on
That's
just
what
because.
I'm like,
She's a Toyota.
See, I do mostly Jeep, so when I get to the Toyota stuff, I refer to my Toyota friends of like, make sure I'm saying this right, because I do. I mean, generally the stuff I teach is really all the same on all of the vehicles.
Yeah.
But when they like ask them, like, how do you know where all that is? I literally take it apart and put it back together, not for fun, because it is not my hobby. People think that's my hobby. It's not. It's necessity. If I had a lot of money, I would be paying somebody else to do it. But taking it apart, it will always go back together. Like I promise.
Somehow.
You, like it will.
Duct
You
tape.
might have extra bolts. I've taped some things. There was somebody here in the class yesterday that I broke his Jeep at EJS, and I fixed it temporarily, and he was still driving it here like that. I'm like, my trail makes help.
Yeah.
That was funny.
I wasn't kidding when I ripped my exhaust off on one of the trails in Kentucky. We zip tied it with the big zip ties, and I drove it from Indiana. Ended up driving from Indiana all the way down to Florida to get it repaired.
Yeah, I mean,
It
he
held
should
up.
have fixed it back home, but he said it was holding fine, and so he drove it here from Idaho.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Listen, it made my Land Cruiser sound like a beast, man. It was like all the way home. It was awesome.
So annoying.
Yep,
No doubt.
We should do a women's camp at it sometime.
absolutely.
Next year, or this year. I know. Come to Colorado. Got you if you're in Colorado.
And we're also going to.
Oh, I think
Oh,
you
yeah.
You talked about that, but I was kind of
Denver, right? Oh yeah.
I put myself right.
Oh, you're in Denver?
in that line of mountains. I'm like 45 minutes south. To the right where the mountains start for all of like we've gone there every year for 10 years, and it's my kids' favorite place to fish and camp and all of that. So my favorite campsites are now 35 minutes from my house, and it's the weirdest and craziest, most amazing.
Isn't
thing
it
ever.
awesome?
Yeah,
I have some
I'm in Denver.
pretty awesome campsites in Arkansas. I'm right in the mountainous area, and it's epic.
I would say we can circle up at the house and go for a couple days.
Well, we'll definitely get together and maybe plan a month. That way, people like Kristen who travels solo and it's all
Pick a
over.
month
Like,
where we need to link.
yeah, we all kind of need to converge in the same place. That would be great.
Makes it easier if there's an event too.
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah,
People start migrating that way anyway.
August. Denver Expo.
that's
We'll
right.
have to be at.
Expo Mountain West, and then Pacific Northwest is in July.
June. Oh, July.
July. I think the Overland Rally is in June, right?
Yeah.
Are you
And
gonna
then
be there for that too?
I am.
Okay.
Yeah. The Overland Rally?
I'm gonna make it a whole 5-week trip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So,
like,
I mean, you do really last summer pretty well, so you've got a lot of good spots up there.
I was gonna say I'll have to get your all's GPX files from you because I'm gonna start working on that over the next 2 weeks. I want to kind of plan most of it out, but then if it changes,
Oh, I got some
That's
files
fine,
for you,
but-
girl.
I want to at least
That was my
have a
home for 10
plan
years,
so I
so
can
I
share it
got
with
you.
James before I go because he's very.
He just wants to know. He's
Yeah.
not going to bug me,
Nothing wrong
but
with
he's
that.
like, I at least want to have an idea of where you are.
I remember when I like drove my Defender with my trailer and all my community. I moved from Florida to California and had to drive across the country. And my dad, who lives in Tasmania, obviously, he was like checking the weather. He's like, by the way, there's a really bad snowstorm coming. And lucky he did, because I've never driven in black ice before.
Oh.
And and like I was like, okay, I'm glad that somebody was looking out for me, because I would have just been like, bit of snow, no worries.
Yeah. No problem at all.
And apparently people like Texas doesn't know how to like, because I was in
Nobody in the
Texas.
South knows what to do with snow.
Yeah,
like,
they're
nobody.
like, we got no infrastructure for this. They had like this freak storm last year that came through, or before, whenever it was.
Yeah.
And I was like driving through it all, and like trucks were like going so slow, like 20 miles an hour, like free, like there was like three,
And they're parked off
trucks
the ditch.
pile up. And,
Yeah.
yeah, it was nasty stuff happening. But me and Harriet, we made it through. We bossed through.
Right on.
Your Defender's name was Harriet.
Harriet.
Oh, I love that.
But this trip, actually, I backed into a tree.
Oh.
So many trips in that car. Like I shipped it from, Australia here, and then the other day we were like, me and the girls are in it, getting ready to come here, and they're like, "This car's a 5," and I was like, "I know." And they're like, "Screw going to the expo. Let's go to the Grand Canyon." And as I said that, they said that. I like
Oh.
this tree, and I was like, my back, like the back door is pretty bent up.
You were so pissed because you're like, I go all these cool places and do all these
awesome things,
I've
but I
never-
can't
yeah.
back out of the driveway without hitting trees.
Hey, sometimes it happens.
Well, my thing is I'll start talking to people, and then we were saying on the way here, I'll just pass right by the turn I need or something.
yeah.
I'm like, oh,
Dang it.
I probably
I did
shut
that.
up.
I've learned now with when you do. I've learned particularly driving a big car as well, and it can be like mine's manual, right-hand drive in America. Like I've just learned that if I miss the turn off or I miss, whatever, it's okay. Just take a breath. Just turn off the road. It's okay. Like, 'cause otherwise, I think you get so anxious, like trying
Yeah.
to get it all right, and it like freaks you out a little bit. And that's something, for me. So I actually shipped my car from Tasmania out to the US. And actually, before I was coming out here, I was like, that's actually a pretty big thing,
Yes.
Like just, solo taking your truck and your trailer with all your like cooking gear and these domes and shipping it to Florida.
That is a
Like,
big
go
thing.
me.
Yes. Seriously.
Yeah, right? Did you start in South Florida?
Yeah, can you believe it or not?
That's pretty brave.
Yeah.
That's pretty brave, girl.
I think Dana would be so
Did you
Oh,
really?
nice.
I did. I could have dreamed to like cook a whole gator like over the fire. And
Gator
Yeah.
tail is so good.
Did you cook an entire gator?
I cooked some entire. I did a whole YouTube on how to cook.
All right,
gator.
I'm gonna have to.
We gotta see that.
Yeah, I met some really cool guys actually down there, and I was like, I have a dream. Will you take me? Because they gator hunt all the time, so they took me out hunting and had to bang stick one.
Yeah.
Skin it, and we do the whole thing on how to skin it, gut it.
Oh.
You're kind of a badass.
I was just saying,
I'm from Florida. I've never skinned it.
Just a gator.
Shot or caught a gator.
I mean, I feel like you should really carry a knife yourself. So bring you the carry a knife just in case.
I need to fillet some food on the way.
Basically. Do you think I would be carrying knives on me? I actually don't, which is weird, but I should do.
You know what you just made me think about? You're going to probably shake your head at me, but when Crocodile Dundee, he's like, that's not a knife.
Yeah,
Oh,
know.
that's a classic.
I know. It's
You
such a good
can't-
movie.
You can't be mad about that.
No.
We're gonna have to get you a belt.
Yes.
So Jordan is doing knives still today
Yeah.
down at Lost Sasquatch down at the end there by Rome. He's amazing. I had him made for my kid.
Really?
Yeah, so my son will be walking down there
around
now.
yet. So
We're
today's
gonna
our
go walk.
day to go walk
Go-
around and see
Go
everything.
see stuff. Yeah.
I really like
Nice
nice
things
like
with him.
Disneyland.
A girlfriend of mine, she has done Naked and Afraid,
Yeah.
and she's a knife maker, and she makes kick-ass knives.
that's
We met through a veteran support group that we did. It was Rules for Gunslingers, and so we would bring the guys in, make them feel more comfortable, and then be like, we're also here to help you. But she makes kick-ass knives, and I'm like, you're just badass. I could never do Naked and Afraid. Like, I could not. No thanks.
It's the naked part that I don't think anybody would want to see. So I can do the afraid thing.
Blur it out.
Yeah, I could do the survival
They
thing.
blur it out, but
It'd be a
just
big
blur out
blur.
the other person's
It'd be a big blur.
I'm not Australia. He went on Naked and Afraid, and he was up in the Northern Territory, which is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna be my next cookbook of things
Naked
that go. No,
Naked outback cooking.
I'm not a naked person. I wear dresses all the time, but I want to do one going traveling up through like overlanding up the top of Australia and shoot a cookbook up through there on like the true Australian cuisine. So
Yes.
with the Indigenous community and the women up there. So the big thing about the Aboriginal community is actually they're very much like men's business, women's business. And although, we're trying to bridge that gap a little bit, I still find it so interesting as like part of their culture, how the women forage and find so many of the ingredients. And yeah, just their whole narrative and story around it, I think is super fascinating. So
Do they cook as a community? Like, is that something that the Aboriginals do?
They do. The women do a lot of the cooking. The men typically do a lot of the hunting, and that's just been because of the way they had to travel between, because they always were roaming.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Nomadic. Yeah, I like it.
and so they would have these like fire sticks they build basically, and it sort of smolders down over time. And the men would carry it to the campsite, like go ahead, take it to the campsite, light the fire, and women would come in with the children and like the food and that stuff. I think it's just how they worked well as a society and managed to survive. I don't think it was so much about
I'm a man, you're a woman.
it was just how they actually worked as a team in a community to keep themselves, being extinct, basically. And I think that's fascinating.
Yeah, that is
I
fascinating.
mean, that's kind of how you keep rule, right? Like I travel with my husband, and when we set up camp, a breakdown camp. Like I have the thing that I do. He
Yes.
does the thing
Yep.
that he do. He does.
You do?
He do the things that he do. And I do that. Yeah, and so like there's not a lot of communication that has to happen.
Yeah.
There's no like sorting out who's doing what. Like we
Yeah.
each have
You kinda
our
have a
box of
system.
things
Yeah.
that we do,
Yeah.
and it just that's how society works well. Like I focus on my box, you focus on your box, and when we're done, we have this beautiful thing, and we work together to create it.
I love it.
Yeah.
All right, we're real quick. We're going to go to each person. You guys are going to tell your social media handles to remind people to follow you.
At Badass Brunette.
Rovin Reverie.
Miss Bats Off Road.
Team Wild Mavens, but mine's Abe's Katie.
Abe's Katie.
Abe's Katie.
We as a couple are Overland _B 1.0. You can find me at Overland _wife.
Nice.
And mine's just at Miss Sarah Glover. So MISSARAH GLOV.
All right. Thank you guys for joining us today. And I really appreciate all your participation. And I hope you had a great time at the event. Thank you to KC. Yes. Thank you to KC HiLites for allowing us to broadcast live from their booth. We really appreciate that. And Christina, wherever she is. Thank you, Christina, for inviting us. Huntress Off-Road. Follow her too.
She's working.
She's
She's working.
busting her butt running around here. So, all right, Arla. Cut it.
Peace out.
Bye.
Bye.
Can we talk now?
Nope.
Can we talk now?
She'll tell you.
At first we were like, oh wait.
Shit,
I need
shit,
to
shit.
double check if I'm allowed to.
Is it not ending?
With that yesterday. That's always the plan. I don't think I did drop it yet. Gone at all for an hour. Which is
It's
like-
just sitting there?
Yeah.
Oh.
My hearing's not good.
Well, that was fun.